And Top Story is always brought to you by Vodafone. Now, if you have still not re-registered your SIM card tonight, then your SIM is set to be completely blocked from accessing all services in the next few hours. Communications Minister Esther Wusu-Akufo is so far standing by her declaration last month that there shall this time be no more extensions.
Upon consultation with the industry and in view of the challenges enumerated above, I have very reluctantly decided to grant a final conditional extension. The program will, and I'm choosing my words carefully, the program will be extended to 30th September to end on the anniversary of its commencement. That will give us 1 full year of SIM registration. It will be reviewed at the end of this month, and any SIM that has not been fully registered by the end of August will be barred from receiving certain services, including voice and data services.
Well, already, as you may well know, some SIMs have already had partially their services blocked, they've been restricted. But in the next few hours, the entire service that you are open to, if you have a SIM card duly registered, you will no longer have access to that. In essence, your SIM card will be completely useless. Well, there is anger tonight, especially from many Ghanaians who say, through no fault of theirs, the National Identification Authority has failed to issue them their Ghana cards, which is the primary and only document for re-registering their SIMs. In fact, the NIA themselves had recently declared they simply could not register and issue all cards before the deadline in a few hours. This is Professor Tefa, who heads the authority.
Would I advise NCA to extend its deadline? Here's our take. We have a mandate to register all Ghanaians in Ghana and all Ghanaians abroad. There is no way NIA can register all Ghanaians in Ghana. If you look at our performance record, as sterling as we believe our performance is, the reality is that there is approximately some 2 million people aged from 15 years and above who have not registered for the Ghana card. Today is the 16th of September. There is no way, Jose, that NIA can register those people. It is physically, technically, fiscally impossible. What advice flows from that? We had said way back in March that it was impossible. And I've said that it is like expecting a maiden to make a baby every 3 months. So that's not how the law designed NIA. That is not how the fiscal and logistical system has been designed to respond. We cannot do that. Now, every institution is driven by its own laws. It is not for NIA to, as it were, prefer advice on that which falls outside its mandate.
That is the Professor Tefa, who heads the NIA there, obviously laying out what they can and cannot do. And as you can imagine tonight, those who fall in that category, they have duly registered, but the NIA has failed to issue them their Ghana cards, or they have been trying to register, but have not managed to do so. Either the NIA offices are overwhelmed, or they have the cards already, but hasn't been validated, or stuck tonight with degree of anger. I want to bring in my colleague Papani, who has been round today, gauging the mood. And Papani, from what I understand, the queues are pretty long, but there is a lot of tension and anxiety.
Yes, particularly with the arrangement. Usually when you go there, you have to sit in a particular arrangement so that, and it follows from who came earlier and then who came last. But just once in a while, you get people getting up. There's a lady who told me that she's been out of the queue 3 times. She got to the front. She was asked to go to the main head office. She was referred back to the place. So when she comes back every time, she has to fight to get to the attendants as soon as possible because she's already been there. But the rest of the people that would not understand. So definitely the tension is growing every time you go there. People are shouting on top of their voices. And for some of the people who realize that it's almost getting to the closing time, they definitely don't have patience for the network is down. And that seems to be a chorus that is being sung at every single
Oh,
center.
so the
that you go.
network is also down
Yes,
in
so
some places.
most of the places you go, you hear the network is down. So you can. There was one part where I had to sit for close to 30 minutes, and in 30 minutes, not a single person
Was
had
registered.
been registered. So if you have to,
Is it the fault of the telecom company in question? Because they are registering their customers.
so it will be the platform of the
platform that they're
yes, it will be
using
the
to sync,
platform that
okay.
they are using to do this. Even though they do not speak to us officially, from what you gather from the ground, it's a matter of the person who's doing the registration is sitting and cannot do any work. So clearly, it has to be the platform that they are using to do the registration process. So it becomes difficult that someone tells you that they've been there for since 9 a.m. and it's 3 p.m. Well past 3 p.m. when I got there, and they are still in the queue. And they're not even in front of the queue to even say that when the network comes, I don't go to register. There's a gentleman who tells me he's due to travel tonight, and that is why he came to the country. We can listen to some of them.
Seriously, I'm among the first people who registered. For over 2 years now, my card is not being validated. I've been going up and down. When you go to this office, they say go here, go there. And right now, you've blocked me from getting access. Why? Why should that happen? Why should that happen? The foundation is not good. The foundation of Ghana card is not good. It's not 2 years now, my brother. I've been going up and down just to get my card validated for 2 years. And to my surprise, this morning, my number has been blocked. Fourth reason, I'll leave Accra here to Elwak each and every blessed day. Why? Is she paying me my transportation to that place?
It's not everybody that is aware of it. So you need to educate us so that everybody will know that it's not everybody that knows it. So definitely you have to educate us. But you don't come and stand here and then be throwing your hands about.
Knowing already that this percentage of people haven't completed their registration, you should be ready for this kind of how should I say it, weight from the public. So when you come here and they tell you that the system is down, I mean, so are they going to extend their working hours, or they are going to close exactly at the time they usually close? All these things is going to go against the customers. So I think they should have made plans for this.
Frustration there at the center that you visited, Papani. So some of these individuals, I mean, these individuals just had they don't have the Ghana card. They've been trying to get a Ghana card, no fault of theirs. But there's another group of people who have just been in the queues for long, who have also been today rushing to try and meet the deadline.
Yes, Evan. So for some people, it's a fight between leaving what feeds you every day and coming to be in a queue. Some of them today have sacrificed, knowing that tomorrow is the deadline. But this is what you have to be faced with. You have to sit there for hours. And you're not even the first person in the queue, so you have to wait for a very long time. And eventually when somebody gets, that's between 30 minutes to 1 hour. That's when only one person gets registered. We are talking about 50 to 100 people in just a single queue at a single center. And most of the centers have the same situation. I just saw even pockets of people who still have their SIM cards blocked, even though we understood that some of them, they had reversed that particular decision, but some of them still had that channel. You can listen to them.
I can't make a call, but I can receive a call. And if you come here, sometimes they will tell you that the network is gone, and you'll be here, people will be entering and they will be doing it and been going. They have done it, but they have blocked it. I can't even get access to inside for past 3 days. So today I've jogged up very, very well. Today is my last day. If they can't do it for me, I'll just change my SIM and throw the other SIM away.
Now we are here. We are stranded. You can see.
So yesterday I came here and they said the network is slow. So I went home and came this morning. And that is the only number I'm using to do my business. But I thought here would be easier for me because yesterday the network was bad there. So I thought here would be okay for me. And here is the case. The crowd is too much.
I've been here around 11. Well, they were saying there's network problem. They said network problem. Well, for me, I actually traveled down because of that. I'm not in the country. That is the reason why I came, and I have to make sure that I've got it right before returning back. So I'm waiting right after here. If I get it, I have to return back. Well, we are here. We are watching. They have some challenges with the network. Yeah. My worry is I have to travel outside this country this evening, and I came because of this. So if they close and it's actually that they are closing the day tomorrow, then I think I've lost my number. that is what I'm praying, that I should be able to have my SIM registered before I leave. You know, some of us, we are not in the country. We have to travel because of this. And today is the last day. I'm here since morning. Yeah, I'm also working there, you see, asking permission, all sort of. You know, outside is not like our own country.
I was here right from, I think, let me see, 9:30 to 10 about. It's very frustrating because looking at the way the queue is moving, I think the office is having some challenges. I think doing that will create a very big problem, and these are artificial problems. We can correct them. We made the law as humans. We can as well correct the law. You understand? Why are we stressing ourselves 30th if you don't register? You know, and most of us, you know, Ghanaians, hand to mouth. If you don't go, you not eat. And those of us who are here today, consider us that today we are not feeding home. Of course, time is money. If you don't go, you don't eat. So that is the challenges we are facing. So if she really thinks about us, the Ghanaians, and she knows she's there because of us, she should think about us first, not the problem. The problem should not be a priority than us.
So that's the situation in Accra. What about Kumasi tonight? Let's bring in my colleague Mona Lisa. Mona Lisa, what did you find when you went round?
Well, Evans, I visited some service centers in Kumasi, and for every center I visited, there were quite long queues. So I managed to speak to some customers and asked why they waited a day before the deadline, before they are coming in their numbers to register. And some said the registration process wasn't complete, and others also mentioned that there were network issues, so they were told by the telco staff to come some other time. And, well, some gave up completely and turned up today, a day before the deadline, with the hope of getting registered. But they have been in queues for about 6 hours. And that's frustrating them the more, because you wouldn't find the queues moving, and they spoke to some staff who have refused to communicate anything to them. And I tried to make some inquiries, but, well, I was turned down too. So that's the situation in Kumasi.
I see. Thank you, Mona Lisa. Then many of you who are in queues tonight, if indeed the centers have not closed already, and you haven't registered, I want to hear from you what is happening and what your anticipation is tomorrow. What do you fear the most? Losing your SIM's ability. I want to bring in Salon Brantier. You know, with Imani, they've been gathering signatures all this while. Now the deadline is upon us. Sam George is the deputy ranking on the Communications Committee, joins us on Zoom. Mr. George, thank you for your time here on Top Story.
Thank you very much, Evan. It's a very good evening to your listeners.
Great to have you. Mr. Brantier, so, sorry, I may have lost Mr. Brantier there. I'll try and get him back onto the telephone line right now. Mr. George, so here we are, a few hours to the deadline. I know you have been monitoring this. I wonder what your information is about where we stand tonight with registrations. Of course, the voices we've just heard provided some form of evidence, but the deadline is going to happen, right? The minister has said clearly this is no backing down now. What's your take on where we are tonight with what has happened over the last 1 month?
Well, Evans, let me state without equivocation that the minister will have to eat the humble pie. The minister will have to realize that she serves the people of this republic and that the people of this republic are not her subjects. It broke my heart to hear a Ghanaian have to board a plane from wherever he was outside the country to come to Ghana to pay his card, because the minister is simply inefficient and incompetent. She's registering SIM cards. She's put a deadline. She knows that there are Ghanaians who are serving their country in missions outside this country. The Ghanaians who are resident outside this country. And she has not given them an opportunity to register their SIM cards, or any opportunity, any available portal to register their SIM cards. Because if you use an iOS device, you can't use that self-service app. If you use an Android device, the app itself is unable to handle the traffic. You have a minister who set a deadline without looking at the robustness of the platform she's using to do the registration, which is what you're hearing again from the Vox Pops that you played. People, the network operators complain of network challenges. Those network challenges are not the telcos networks. It's the third-party application that the minister is insisting is used to do the registration. Again, you have a minister who set a deadline without any recourse to persons living with disability in Ghana who have no fingerprints and so cannot be registered using fingerprints. She says she's going to disconnect their line. I mean, if you have a minister who is so technically bereft of competence to execute a simple policy initiative like a SIM registration, you'll have this mess. And I know for certain the technical people at her disposal are making it clear to her that her position is recalcitrant, it is untenable, and is inimical to the growth of the sector. Evans, take my word, 1st of October will come. The SIM cards will still be active because it cannot, you cannot just block the SIM cards that way. And you know, most interesting, as you're aware, I'm outside the country, but as soon as I get back, I'm going to be doing a national call for individuals who have registered for the Ghana card. And let me use your platform to even start that call. Anybody who's registered for the Ghana card and has not been given the Ghana card yet and has been given a later date, please let me have your data. Furnish my office with your data. Because, Evans, we filed a suit on Monday with 9 Ghanaian citizens who have registered, some who have registered for the Ghana card since 2018 but have not received the Ghana card. Do you believe that as soon as we made public the rates with their names, between yesterday and today, the NIA has called those individuals, giving them a VIP treatment and handed over their Ghana cards to them.
Oh, so that explains the story that we saw that 9 individuals who went to court have withdrawn the case.
No. The case is still active. You see, what happened was on Friday, the lawyers filed the case without a commissioning of the case. And so there was an error in that. And so we withdrew that case and refiled again on Monday. And that case will be heard on the 6th. So we haven't withdrawn the case. Whether the NIA provides their cards to them with on a gold set, silver gold platter, we will still proceed with the court case, because based on the NIA's inability to give them those cards, those people suffered some harm and damage when the minister illegally blocked their SIM cards earlier this month.
But Mr. John, what you say, it raises questions. So these individuals have registered with the NIA, have not received their cards, some up to 2 years. Immediately their names went up as applicants in the case. They are called within few days and issue the cards.
Within 48 hours, they were called by the NIA, begged to come for their cards. They got to the NIA office. Per the information we've received from them, they were given VIP treatments. There was an NIA officer waiting to meet them at the entrance, walked them straight into an air-conditioned room, offered them water, and then gave them their Ghana cards. These are people who for 2.5 years had been chasing the NIA, had been tossed left and right. Some of them came from outside Accra, had to go to Elwak, had to go to Shashi with no success in 2.5 years. As soon as we support them to file a court case, the NIA has called them and begged them and handed over their cards to them. So if that is how the system will work, every Ghanaian who has applied for a Ghana card and has not received your Ghana card, please let us have your name. We will add it to the class action sheet we're working on with Telon Branty and Imani, and we would file those cases within the next week and ensure that all those people also get a VIP treatment. No Ghanaian must be maltreated or lose their SIM card because of the inefficiencies and incompetence of people holding public office.
Sam, stay with me. Mr. Branty, first of all, before I even come to your substantive matter of the signatures, what do you say about what Sam George just revealed?
No, I fully concur 110% with what Sam George has said so far. We cannot live in a country where a minister can use a state agency or a sector regulator as her linchpin to inflict pain and suffering on the people of Ghana. It is very, very shocking and sad that over the past 1 month that all of this has happened, the only statement we have heard from her officially was that horrible Facebook statement she made, about a month ago, saying that people's negligence, the people are to blame for their own negligence, forgetting that this is a cross-sectoral matter which has a lot of factors beyond her control and beyond her ambit and beyond even what the capacity of her organization, which is the ministry, can do. So to the extent that you are using the regulator as a tool to push whatever agenda you wish to push, it is very, very pathetic, and it's actually a bit, I should use the word, insulting to the average Ghanaian who has had to go through all these inconveniences, all these, hurdles, just to be able to do something that is out of their reach. This is the 21st century. Ghanaians should never take pride in queuing for anything to the extent of queuing to the point where they are frustrated. That even is an indication of gross inefficiency, a lack of self-awareness or a lack of awareness of where we are as a country. And this is a mark of poor leadership. For every minute that people are standing in those queues, they are losing the chance to continue with whatever provides them livelihood. The nation is losing in terms of the revenue that could have come from the productivity of all of these able-bodied men and women who have had to stop whatever they are doing to come here. And you see, we should note that these are not just a bunch of touts or unemployed people or useless people. There are mothers, there are fathers, there are...
Yeah, we had stories of people wwho said the challenge with coming is because they had to leave their daily bread, so to speak. But Mr. Brantier,
Exactly.
Mr. Brantier, there's one group of legitimate people who, like Sam George had said, they have registered. No fault of theirs have not been issued with their Ghana cards. There's that group. But then there's another group of people who have simply refused to register. And we see that each time the deadline is extended, the queues reduce. Approaching the deadline, then the queues begin to form again. Certainly, Mr. Brantier, you agree with the minister that certainly that second group of people, they deserve to be blocked. Their SIMs deserve to be blocked.
Why do their SIMs deserve to be blocked? Were their SIMs not activated by a biometric source of identification?
But as a country, we've come to a conclusion, and we've adopted a policy that says now we want to re-register SIMs. We've given you a year's grace period to do this. Definitely, we must get to a point and encourage people to go and do it.
Yeah, Evans, the clearest evidence of an inefficient system is a system where it does not engage the people to be motivated enough to participate in the process. And this is one of those. Of all the methods that could have been used, like we have said so many times before, Evans, people with SNIT information, people with NHIA information have merged their information with the NIA database successfully without a single person having to make even a phone call. In fact, they rather receive text messages confirming the merging of their data. What has stopped the minister and the NCA from using the same seamless, efficient, cost-free approach, which has very little attrition with any ongoing processes? It is basically because she has decided to be recalcitrant and choose the most of all in the whole gamut of processes that were available, the most inefficient, the most human-intensive, the most resource-intensive, and the worst way possible to handle this. And sadly, like I always keep saying, even this registration that we are doing, the biometric data or the so-called biometric data that's being captured cannot even be verified with the NIA database anyways. So we are not even moving a step forward. We are actually moving 3 steps back because now we have questions with the kind of data integrity that we are building up.
Mr.
Is this the way to run a nation? As a minister in charge of digitalization, you choose the worst and most inefficient backward route to handle a service that is crucial to this nation's security and digital setup.
Yeah.
And you take pride in it so much that you think that you can impose a deadline on top of it.
But Mr. Brantier, I know you collected signatures. What happens now?
Yeah.
Because you have a few hours now to that deadline to kick in.
I am entreating everybody, and you have the link on my Facebook page. if you are making the news story on this, you can add the link so that anybody who feels aggrieved or anybody who knows that this deadline is going to affect them through no fault of theirs should join in, because, like Sam George said earlier, we are going to file a bunch of suits and categorize them according to the exact grievance to target certain exact remedies that we want to have.
When do you hope to do this?
We are going to do this over the course of the week. We are just waiting to see how things will progress.
How many signatures you have? How many signatures you have now?
We have around 2,000 signatures already. But if anybody feels, or any of your listeners currently feel that this situation is going to aggravate them, they are encouraged to join, because we have to ensure that there's accountability. We cannot let people ride us ragged onto the ground just because they feel like it is their prerogative to do so.
I'm grateful, Selon Brantier. I mean, Mr. George, so the telcos, the minister has said 30th September, well, effectively in the next few hours, SIMs that have not been re-registered, they should lose all their services. Question is, should the telcos simply do this in the next few hours as directed and being enforced by the NCA? Should they switch off your SIM completely in the next few hours? What should the telcos do?
Again, I will use your platform to serve notice to the telcos that they are criminally liable if they proceed with the illegal directive from the minister and the regulator. They have a contract with their clients, and that is why we are suing them as we'll be attaching them to the suits for those who we've sued already because they listened. The telcos must know that they are multinationals. And yes, they operate in Ghana under the laws of Ghana, but they have a responsibility to positively defy illegality. If they continue to assist the regulator and the minister in the exercise of this illegality, because they are afraid that the minister will impose fines on them, they should choose which fines they will pay. Damages in court for thousands of Ghanaian citizens, and we will chase them and make sure they recompense our citizens, or they stand with the citizens of Ghana and say to the minister and the regulator, you are wrong. We would actually side with our customers because the telcos can. The telcos have gone to court. Let me give you an example. MTN went to court when the minister asked that all telcos should release during COVID. The minister, for whatever strange reason, requested that the telcos should release all financial details of citizens to the regulator. Vodafone complied, Airtel Tigo complied, MTN refused and went to court. MTN won the case. And you see, Evans, as we speak, just this morning, Australia is dealing with its biggest data leak. Over 12 million citizens in Australia have been affected because a telecom company messed up their data services. And so their financial details, their medical records have been made available. You are using our telcos today are using a system that they themselves have queried. They themselves have raised technical issues. The telcos have made a point to the regulator that if they were asked to do this registration on their own, they won't use the platform that the regulator is asking them to use because there are technical challenges. Yet they are going ahead as a conduit for the collection of our data. They should bear in mind that we will hold them criminally liable, and they cannot escape because they will say a regulator asked them to do it. They have responsibilities to their customers. And so they should choose where they want to stand. With a regulator that is overbearing and a minister that is acting illegally, or with the people of Ghana and the laws of Ghana.
Sam George, thank you very much. He's a deputy ranking on the Communications Committee. Where are you tonight? Are you in the queue attempting to register before the deadline strikes in a few hours? Let me hear from you here on Newsnight 055-1111-997. Newsnight starts now.
And in the next 60 minutes here on Newsnight, Lands and Natural Resources Minister summons ministers from 5 regions where Galamsey is rife as he bemoans the spate of devastation on mined lands in the Amansie area of the Ashanti region.
All of you can see the level of devastation. Forest, I'm going to be seeking answers for. How is it the case that such an operation can be mounted and such level of devastation can happen?
We'll hear from him and bring you the latest on his visit to the area today. Plus, 2 persons sustained gunshot wounds at Samaraboy in the western region after youth clashed with personnel of a mining firm in the Tano Nimri Forest Reserve in the western region. We have details of that. Incompetent political appointees bloating public wage bill as consultants and personal assistants. The claims of Clocksack as it demands urgent reforms.
The so-called ghost names that cannot be identified in the civil service payroll have turned out to be personal assistants of ministers. Meanwhile, they are earning salaries far above what, and they don't know anything too.
Also tonight, School Feeding Secretariat categorically deny claims they are threatening to terminate contracts of caterers for demanding payment of arrears owed them.
We have never threatened any caterer or group of caterers to take their contracts away from them. We have never done that. We are rather even encouraging them to go and cook, because we know that we owe them.
Details as the Secretariat say they are currently mobilizing funds to pay caterers all the arrears.
Oh, there are always plans. So we are making frantic efforts to ensure that we get the money to release from government, and then we'll be able to pay them.
And in business, crude transportation giant Trafigura project further decline in price of oil on the international market. But what could be the impact of this for consumers at the pumps locally?
And in sports, the Ghana Football Association has suspended the Bet Power Premier League 3 weeks into the new season following a court injunction. 50 minutes will bring you details and insight into its impact on clubs.
And later, feeling perplexed about the rainy weather lately? Well, brace yourself as Ghana Met Agency predicts it will continue until December or even March next year.
From the global model chart that we use, the indications are also there that it will linger on up to December or possible up to March next year. But then the intensity will vary or it will decrease towards those months.
We'll be talking about that and more here on Newsnight. Plus, that deadline approaching. Your SIM cards are going to be switched off if you haven't re-registered. Send us your WhatsApp 05511119997. That and more here on Newsnight with myself, Evans Mensah,
and MFA Powell.
After this.
Against the corner of a table, or a failed cash transaction because of insufficient funds. But that's where Vodafone Cash Overdraft will help you shop life regardless. Vodafone Cash Overdraft is the latest innovation that adds to your Vodafone Cash wallet when your balance is not enough to pay for your Vodafone transactions. Just dial *110#, select option 5 to opt in. Now let's say you won't buy 50 cedis monthly data where you get only 30 cedis for your Vodafone Cash wallet. You will get a notification saying you can access additional funds to complete your transaction. You accept the offer, done. Overdraft. Oh, say yeah.
Oh, yeah. The new Vodafone Cash Overdraft service allows you to access additional funds to complete your Vodafone Cash transaction. Be it paying for your broadband subscription, buying airtime or mobile data, or even sending money. Terms and conditions apply.
Vodafone.
The Ministry of Education, through the National Teaching Council, presents Ghana Teacher Prize 2022 on the theme, The Transformation of Education Begins with Teachers. Guest of honor, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. The most outstanding teacher goes home with a 3-bedroom apartment. First runner-up goes with a 4x4 pickup. Second runner-up gets a saloon car. The best teacher in leadership and administration gets a saloon car, and the best non-teaching staff also gets a saloon car. Activities include a 2-day symposium. Date 3rd and 4th of October 2022 at Modern City Hotel Tamale at 9 a.m. A grand deba on Wednesday 5th October 2022 at exactly 9 a.m. It will be live at the University for Development Studies Multi-Purpose Hall Tamale. Sponsors: Get Fund, Trustees of GES Occupational Pension Scheme, Glyco Pension, Prudential Bank Limited, SIC Life, Data Bank Limited, InvestCore, Petro Trust, UNICEF, UNESCO, Right to Play, National Lottery Authority, Global Institute of Resource Development Limited, Abbey Ventures Limited, IC Given, NATS, NAGRATS, CCT, and TEWU. Media Partner, the Multimedia Group Limited.
The FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022 is here. Excitement is in the air.
You've been waiting for this, and now it's time to experience it. You could win a trip to the FIFA World Cup, plus other amazing prizes when you get and use your EcoBank Visa card. Get ready. Football lives here, wherever you are. T's and C's apply. Visit www.ecobank.com/Visa World Cup for more.
And you're live here on Joy 99.7 FM. It is News Night.
And we start off from the Ashanti region, where Lands and Natural Resources Minister Samuel Abujinapo has summoned ministers from 5 regions where galamsey is rife. The minister summoned his colleagues from the Ashanti, the Central, Western, North and Eastern regions as he bemoaned the spate of devastation by activities of galamseyers in these areas. Earlier, the minister had visited the Amansie area of Ashanti region, where he says government will be launching an investigation into the extent of devastation on minelands. And Mr. Jinapo names political heads, security agencies, and the Minerals Commission among officers to seek answers from. Nanaya Ojima was on the ground with the minister's team and joins us on the line with details of what transpired today. Nanaya, we understand the minister expressed shock at the spate of devastation. Paint a picture for us on how bad the situation is.
So, MFR, almost everyone on this trip was shocked at the devastation that has been done to the land. Now we are talking about a land that the size could be likened to a whole township that have been destroyed by these illegal miners, and very deep pits. And some of the pits, I haven't seen anything like that when it comes to illegal mining. The pits that have been dug could be likened or compared to the death could be compared to that which is done in the regular mining, that is the established mines. So these are devastating elements that we saw today at the ground, and this isn't something that started just yesterday. It's something that has continued for over 3 years, and from the information that we've been gathering, there were some foreigners who had come to the area to cause that kind of destruction. That is according to the people within the area, and now what is left are just indigents of the area who are feeding on the pits that were dug by these illegal miners who are actually foreigners.
Also been made, and evidence is being put together to prosecute them. And we make these visits first of all to encourage the military people and to let them understand that they have the full backing of the president and his government on whose instructions I'm here, and also to in the process expose the complexities of this matter. And all of you can see the level of devastation. It should baffle all of us as citizens, as policymakers, and as stakeholders in this fight, how an operation like this in the heart of the forest and in the faraway areas of our country can go on without notice by the police, the chiefs, the local political leadership, assembly people, the district chief executive, for example, and I should dare say even the Inspectorate Division of the Minerals Commission here. And these are questions that I, as minister, am going to be seeking answers for. How is it the case that such an operation can be mounted and such level of devastation can happen when there is a district outfit of the Minerals Commission who should have an inspectorate division, when there's a police command here, when there's a district chief executive. Fortunately, from here, I'm heading to Kumasi to meet district chief executives from the mining communities of our country. And so the point we keep making about the fight against illegal mining being a collective one, I think is a classic.
So now that the minister has seen the extent of devastation, and did he mention the steps his outfit, together with his colleagues, are going to be taking to deal with it?
Now, first of all, what he is saying is that an investigation will be conducted in the devastation that has gone on in the Amansie Central District, and also he will make sure that they keep the military on the ground to ensure that they flush out all these illegal miners in the area.
And I think it's a classic evidence of that call that it will require the concerted effort of all of us. It cannot be the fight for government alone or for ministers alone. It has to be the fight for all of us, citizens and all the actors in the body politic of Ghana. And this is what we have on our hands. But what I can say and the assurance I can give, and yesterday the president himself chaired a meeting on this matter and extensive discussion took place about that. We will continue relentlessly with integrity to do our best to come to grips with this matter of illegal mining operations in our country. The Ghanaian people should be rest assured, but whatever we have to do to make sure that we get to a satisfactory situation in this country in respect of this canker, we will do so.
I don't know if the other ministers got the chance to speak also, but we'll talk about it. But I know that the General Officer Commanding of the Central Command, Brigadier General Joseph Apo, was also on that trip. What has he been saying about the return of these miners to the area?
So he is also shocked about the level of devastation that has been done to the land. And what he is saying is that his men are ready to help government fight the menace. And that he is also calling for a sustained effort, which he will need the backing of the government to ensure that this is done.
But the interviews that we've had with citizens and locals within this catchment area tells us that their livelihoods, particularly their water and their farms, have been devastated. So I believe that the war against the environment will be won. And I know with the assurance from the Honorable Minister, we will actually succeed. Of course, but it has to be sustained. And I believe he will ensure that we sustain this operation. Exactly. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Jonah, how many excavators did you seize?
I think we seized about 6. 6, and then 5 we have
6 years.
6 here at that are not here, and then 5 at Kotoko. We've burned about 2 or 3. Those that were not, we couldn't move. We had to burn them, and then I think that has been the instructions that we had. As for the excavators, we can easily get them because they cannot run. So, but the human beings, when they see us, people coming, they all vamoose. As for the Chinese, we haven't had one. I think they are so witty and creative that we don't even get them.
So that's the General Officer Commanding of the Central Command, Brigadier General Joseph Apode, and we're still following up on the Lands and Natural Resources Minister's visit to the Ashanti region. Naya Ojima is on that beat for us, but we can hear from an MP in the Ashanti region, the Adansia Sokwa MP, KT Hammond. He's also been talking about the spate of Galamsey in the area.
Now in the Ashanti region, and they are talking about certain steps. They should ratchet it up a bit. I mean, it should go up a bit. I mean, whatever standard is set now, it's not working. I mean, you can't be throwing whatever material at the same strategy if it is not working. Let's get into the 5th gear. We can go into 4th gear, then the 5th gear, and then if it isn't working, let's go to the final gear. The final gear should work. Now, if it is the case that we're still struggling and we don't see how we go through all that, then let's move to the final gear and then see. You should go for broke. I mean, put all the caboodle at it and then let's see. I am going to speak to him. I'll make my point. Obviously, cabinet is there, they discuss this. But it's a matter of national significance. It is difficult. It's difficult. You know, there's a couple. What will be left of us? I mean, my land devastated, there's land devastated, in the end, we will even eat. And you'll be asking me whether the bullet and the whatever. What is the name? The Ukraine thing and the COVID, they have been 2 cataclysmic events in the history of the world. The 2, World War II and those things didn't come back. The war was all, but 2 of this in the economy of the world at this time, it hasn't been easy. Don't let us, under any circumstance, play this thing down.
Well, 2 persons have sustained gunshot wounds in a related subject, still on illegal mining, this time at Samreboy, after the section of the youth there prevented personnel of Akonta Mining Limited from sending more mining equipment into the Tano Nimri Forest Reserve in the Western region. The company has been mining in the reserve despite a declaration by the government that it has not granted any entry permit into the forest reserve. In fact, that forest reserves across the country have been declared red zones. Well, we'll hear more on this pretty shortly, but as you know, Love News has uncovered an ongoing degradation of that particular forest reserve, and my colleague Erastus Saidonko has a documentary coming up called Distraction for Gold that looks into this. Yeah, accepts.
On August 17th this year, the Minerals Commission, in a press release, stated that the Lands Minister has not issued any license for minerals prospecting in any forest reserve. The release, signed by Chief Executive Officer of the Commission, Martin Aisi, referred to a letter by Akonta Mining Limited dated August 8, 2022, which was an application for an entry permit to enter the Tano Nimre Forest Reserve at Samreboy in the Western region. The release said the application must be processed, quote, subject to the Honorable Minister of Lands and Natural Resources Directive on Mining in Forest Reserve. But even before the Lands Ministry would indicate publicly its position on the application, our checks indicate active mining in the Tano Nimre Forest Reserve. A visit to the forest revealed large portions of the reserve already mined and degraded. This drone footage taken few days ago shows active mining linked to Akonta Mining Limited under the protection of armed personnel. The forest reserve is being destroyed with impunity even at the time of airing this report.
We are here at this thing, Tontokrom. The hot duties, and there are some policemen and media be here.
Despite Love News' expose on military personnel protecting miners in the Odaho section of the Apamprama Forest Reserve, security personnel are still providing protection for miners who are pillaging the reserve currently, as corroborated by the Mentiahene of Bekwai, Nana Kusi Frimpong Kotobre.
My district is Amaset Central. That is where I have my cocoa farm. In that area, there's a forest called Kobo Forest. The forest is guarded by soldiers as people mine inside the forest. I had a confrontation with the soldiers. They said they are on duty. What kind of duty is being held in the forest? Ministers and people in government are the ones protecting them. Because I can't hire military men, if I could, I would ask them to accompany me to the farm to weed.
Well, guess what? Erastus don't call is in the studio with us tonight, and he joins us right there. Erastus, when did this incident happen, and what more can you tell us?
Okay, so we visited the Tano Nimre Forest Reserve before we filed this report, and the government says it has not given any permit to any company to enter the reserve. But as we speak, when we went there, about 12 football fields of the forest have already been degraded, and this is linked to Akonta Mining Limited, which is owned by Chairman Untumi Bernard Nchubosi, who is the regional chairman of the NPP. Now, this afternoon, we are learning that the company wanted to send in more washing equipment and mining equipment into the forest. The youth there resisted the attempt, and there was a clash. Some shots have been fired. 2 people sustained gunshot wounds, and I have been speaking with the assembly member for Samreboy, Evans Ade.
Tata Reno Nibi. Matron, Apunta mining. Peka, a bomb, Anna Mujinasa, machine. Anna, almost after Sadia, Ombeju Tyson and any way.
Machine, and at the Diana Congramo.
At the plant. The Omode was a good no. Plant in the system of Modeco. And there's a bean suki account. There's a count. Yeah, plant and Anqua. There's a Chenya. Omode Kura, a forest limb. It's an answer as a member Diani Hadia, and I have a block cano. And I'm a block cano. It's a block cano. Anna, I'm afraid, go for a catch almost say, Oma block your car. Nay, I say, as I contact for Omo Poi. Bodyguard for now, I'm a guide your mono. Come on, man. That's almost the car. Eba. It's a mobile. I know I'm to 1 in shoot. Also to 1 in shoot. Double to 1 in shoot, you know. Anna, a Timaphone, a boyfriend. Stop boyfriend, 9 and 3. It's my phone, a boyfriend, and I'm on charge as a Omodi Omuko na Ubi, Eva Tito, and Omubuki. If you know, Gase, how much China for me, mean to me, Gase, command for a China, and I say, but according to governance of China for be, Ira. I know Gase China for no crime, my Jacobase, Omo Pijano, and Omodija, editor, a contact for Canim.
Basically, what he's saying in Chi is that in the morning, 2 Kia Rhino vehicles transporting mining equipment into the forest passed by at Samreboy. The youth there decided that they will not allow the machines to enter the forest, and so they seized the forest. And some task force from Akonta Mining came in, fired warning shots, and the youth were incensed more because they feel it's their town and they will not allow people to come in there and fire warning shots. So they also resisted, and in the disturbances 2 people sustained gunshot wounds, and the youth also bent the vehicle that was transporting the equipment.
Which part of the country is this? And I know you've been touring, you've encountered a part of the government machinery to try and deal with illegal mining. Is there any focus in that part of the country to try and deal with the problem?
This is Western region. And so far, after we did the report, we're expecting that the minister will move straight to that area and pour some attention in the forest. But then the minister is in Ashanti region instead of Samreboy, where the action is happening in the reserve. And we have provided evidence. Those drone footage you saw in there captures the action that is going on in the reserve. So far, nothing has been done about it. The mining is still active, and that is why the youth are not happy, and perhaps they are also taking the law into their own hands.
This documentary, when does it air?
Monday.
Thank you very much, Erastus. Good to have you in the studio. Let's move on to some other issues now. And the Civil and Local Government Service Association of Ghana, CLOGSAG, says the pressure on the public wage bill is as a result of government employment of incompetent party members as consultants and personal assistants. Executive Secretary of CLOGSAG, Isaac Bampuado, says this has rendered members of his association redundant, even though they are more competent than the party members. He's been speaking at the 5th Nathan Annan Kwao lectures.
Apparatchiks as consultants to perform routine civil service functions and paying them higher on-hand salaries. That's ballooning the civil service wage bill as reported in the 2020 Auditor General's report for MMDAs and MMDAs. Hindsight evidence reveals that the so-called ghost names that cannot be identified in the civil service payroll have turned out to be personal assistants of ministers. Related to the above, permanent consultancies for key functions of the services have been outsourced to party apparatchik consultants. This has compromised the quality of services provided by most civil service organizations, as they are undertaken without the required institutional guidance, expertise, and experience. Foreign training and development workshops meant to build the capacity of civil servants are also hijacked by politicians and their party apparatchiks to the detriment of the growth of the services. The ones they are not able to hijack are sabotaged to the disadvantage of the nation. Political appointments of chief directors and heads of departments to the civil and local government services contravenes the Supreme Court ruling on 14 June 2017. This situation is a clear example of abuse of political power. A key function taken over by the political appointees is furthermore in the era of policy initiation and formulation. Instances of this can be cited in almost all the ministries, leading to weak policy coordination and management. The creation of parallel institutions to cater for parochial interests of politicians has also, to a large extent, duplicated the efforts and services offered by the staff of the civil and local government services. The management of school feeding program, for instance, is currently in the hands of a school feeding secretariat at the center of government instead of being managed by the local government assemblies. Special assistants brought in by politicians have convoluted the required policies with the introduction of all sorts of policy advice, which is not fit for purpose for our circumstances. Instances have also been cited as special assistance advice holding sway over that of the experienced civil servant. Special assistants go to the extent of undertaking their own narrow research to inure to their benefits to the detriment of planned government researches by ministries, thus limiting the efficacy of policy formulation, effective implementation of government policies. The periodic review of government policies and plans, which should naturally follow a certain pattern, are truncated as a result of superimposition of utopian ideas by political cohorts.
Isaac Bampoado also alleges that there are more than 100 of such appointees at the Ministry of Finance alone.
Before a minister can have a personal assistant, it must be approved by the Chief of Staff. There's regulation on that. And I think the law allows for only 2. But go to Ministry of Finance now. We have over 100 personal assistants, and what work are they doing? So you ask yourself, these over 100 personal assistants are Ministry of Finance. So what work would the civil servants be doing? Is it not creating redundancy for them? Meanwhile, they are earning salaries far above what, and they don't know anything too.
Okay, so that's Clocksack's head there, talking about the public sector when it comes to personal assistance and bloated wage bill.
Well, we're hoping to speak to the CEO of the public sector reforms on this particular development, but it appears we have a terrible connection to him. As and when we're able to raise him, we'll get to speak to him on it. But it appears it's a good time to go to business.
Yeah, George Affe is joining us with the latest. Hello, George.
Hi, Evans.
What do you have in the headlines?
Well, Evans, I have something on crude transport giant Trafigura is forecasting a further decline in price of crude oil. But should we be excited at the local pumps here and what that will mean for you, Evans, and MFI as well? An economist, Professor Peter Korte, describes as prudent moves by Finance Ministry to engage on more consultations on the economic program with the IMF. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business, Ghana Pay and Allianz Life.
The other day, I visited Kweku at his spunky new office to congratulate him on opening his business. And man, was I impressed. The business is just moving quick. The sales, customers, everything is just working seamlessly. The secret? He said,
it's MTN Business Broadband. In this fast-paced environment, we need fast and reliable internet to support all business types. No laggy online meetings, great download and upload speeds, impeccable business management systems, all inclusive. I mean, you can have it all.
Sharp! I signed on immediately.
To enable your business stay ahead and stay connected, make sure you're signed on to the best internet made just for businesses. MTN Business Broadband. Sign up today on broadband.mtn.com.gh and manage your account on my MTN app. Call 0244 308 111 for more information.
MTN.
Son, we are so proud of you for setting up this hospital. I really love those hospital beds and waiting chairs. By the way, did you import them?
No, Dad, I didn't. I actually got them from Kindle Books and Stationery right here in Ghana.
Wow. We also bought our office supplies, safes, executive desks and chairs from Kingdom, and they gave us expert advice on how to set up our office.
Guys, that makes 3 of us. I also got our sofa and bedroom sets, plus our dining hall furniture for our new home from Kingdom.
Wow, Mom, that makes 4 of us. I usually get my stationery items from Kingdom. And my teacher also mentioned that our classroom furniture was provided by Kingdom.
So there you have it. Whenever you're thinking about setting up an office or acquiring furniture for your home, etc., Kingdom Books and Stationery should be your first point of call. With over 40 years experience in the industry, we stock and supply a wide variety of globally sourced office and home furniture, stationery and equipment. Visit our head office, Osu Akwaje, or our office near the Osu Stadium. We're also in Tema Community 1, opposite Olam SHF, Kumasi KNUST campus, UCC Cape Coast, and now at the Marina Mall, Airport City. Or call us 0302 764101, 764209, or 762792. Visit our website www.kingdomgh.com.
Businesses know how important it is to create a productive and supportive working environment by investing in employees' health. With a leading international track record, Apex Health Insurance is licensed to provide medical insurance services to corporate organizations and SMEs. We also have international LH Blue cover and TPAs to cushion you. Multinational companies, factories, and government agencies, focus on your business while Apex Insurance takes care of your health. Visit Apex Health Insurance office at Zion House, Boundary Road, Shiashi, Kumasi, opposite Prempeh College, Sofo Line, and Takrady Market Circle. For further inquiries, call 0501 562 962 or 0501 552 495. Apex Health, your preferred health insurer.
Alande, me say Alande.
Adepay na Alande.
Ghana Pay Alande.
Hey, finally, Ghana Pay Alande.
Do more your way on Ghana Pay. Send and receive money at zero transaction fees. Pay bills, buy airtime and data, transfer money in and out of your bank account, and so much more with Ghana Pay. Dial *707# to register for Ghana Pay or download the Ghana Pay app from the Play Store or App Store.
Alande, Ghana Pay Alande.
Ghana Pay, your money, your way.
This service is powered by Gibbs.
Allianz, insurance since 1890. At Allianz Life Ghana, we have a wide range of life insurance packages to suit all pockets, from individuals, groups, associations, and businesses. We cover your employees, your funerals, pensions, children's education, and your future. Call us on 0302-267-892 or visit our website www.allianz-gh.com for more inquiries. Allianz Life, we secure your future.
You're welcome back to Business on Newsnight. Now, oil prices will continue to drop on the international market. Now, that's according to a projection by global commodity and transport giant Trafigura. But will this impact on the prices of petroleum products at the pumps? There is more in this report.
These concerns were captured in the commodity trading giant's latest report to investors, No Global Oil Outlook. Trafigura in the report noted that since the current drop in oil prices was influenced by fear of a global recession, then there is the likelihood that the decline will be sustained going forward. Most of these traders are worried with the current COVID-19 lockdown in China and economic slowdown in most countries, demand for crude oil will be affected going forward. The Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, on the other hand, has argued that it might be forced to cut production to help deal with record decline in prices of crude oil. Well, here in Ghana, consumers are yet to benefit from the record decline in prices of crude on the international market. This is due to what some of the oil marketing companies are linking to the continuous decline in cedi value against the dollar. So, even though prices are dropping on the world market, as long as the Ghana cedi is not stable, consumers on the local market might not benefit directly from what is happening there. Crude oil is currently trading at $85 a barrel. Now, 6 months ago, it was selling at around $140 a barrel.
And that was the Business Desk report. To other stories, economist Professor Peter Korte has described as prudent moves by the Finance Ministry to open up the IMF program negotiations for more stakeholder inputs. This is coming as the Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta announced of a 5-member committee that will be formed to lead extensive stakeholder engagement on the fund program. Professor Peter Korte maintained that this is the best way to go.
That consultation is very critical, and we ought to take it seriously, attach a lot of importance and speed to it, and ensure that there is indeed consensus. Any decision arrived will be something that would stabilize the financial system, would also bring benefits to the Ghanaian economy, as well as enable us engage the IMF to fashion out a program by end December. Yes, knowledge does not reside in just one.
And that is economist Professor Peter Korte. Now, Minister of Works and Housing Francis Asensio-Boakye has indicated that the government is seriously working to pass the condominium law in the coming months. Now, this will pave the way for sharing of properties in prime areas in the country. He was speaking at the Africa Construction and Housing Trends, a focus on Ghana, organized by the auditing and management firm Deloitte Ghana.
It is an undeniable fact that there is an increasing demand for the development of high-rise and compact properties towards maximizing limited land space, especially within the prime areas of the cities. This has called for the need to consider the implications of shared ownership of common areas. Therefore, government is working assiduously to pass the condominium bill, which seeks to regulate the use of common area in real estate development. More importantly, we cannot overemphasize the role of private sector in the overall development of the construction subsector and the economy at large.
Francis Asensio-Boakye is the Minister for Works and Housing. Over 15 million euros will be channeled into the development of entrepreneurs in Ghana to take advantage of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. According to the ambassador of the Kingdom of Netherlands in Ghana, Jeroen van Hal, his outfit is working hard to ensure that the concerns of these entrepreneurs are addressed going forward. Now, speaking to Joy Business at the graduation of cohort 456, he indicated that the embassy is poised to sustain the operations of startups in the country.
When you want to grow your business, access to finance is often a difficult issue. It is not only the terms of loans, because often entrepreneurs have to access loans, and if you have to pay an interest percentage of about 30%, then it's quite difficult. You have to make a lot of money to pay back the loan and to pay the interest. So access to affordable finance, that is the main issue.
And that is Jeroen van Hal. He is the ambassador of the Kingdom of Netherlands in Ghana. Now, Evans, the current challenges facing the economy might come with some shocks for other sectors as well. But when it comes to the banking sector, what can be done to insulate it from the current shocks? Well, Evans, I'll be engaging an economist, a former MD of Stanbic Bank and former president of the Ghana Association of Bankers, Alhassan Andani, is joining me tonight on PM Express as we talk about banking, plans to restructure proposal. I mean, the likelihood that government could or may not restructure, that's what would that mean for you and I, the Ghana cedi's stability, interest rates, the economy, and IMF. And we'll be engaging Alhassan Andani, who was a former managing director of Stanbic Bank, former president of the Ghana Association of Bankers. He is also an economist. So everything banking, the economy, IMF, all these things wrapped up at 9 p.m. on PM Express Business Edition on Joy News.
Listen, if there's anybody who can help you appreciate what this impending restructuring, if at all,
it comes on,
will mean to you, it's Alhassan Andani. So I'm looking forward to this conversation. It's a very apt conversation for the time, for the moment. Join George at 9 p.m. on the Joy News channel. Still on News 9 on Joy 99.7 FM. Now, the National School Feeding Secretariat claims they are there. That they are threatening to terminate the contract of caterers for demanding payments of arrears owed them are simply untrue. Now, some caterers who spoke to state-owned Ghana News Agency say they have been warned not to speak to the media on the debt owed them. Now, some of the caterers who spoke to Joy News off the record also corroborated the claims, but speaking to Joy News, Public Relations Officer of the School Feeding Secretariat, Alpha Siba, said caterers who say they have been threatened must come forward and mention who really issued the threats.
To be honest with you, this thing is coming to us as a very big surprise because it's never true. The School Feeding National Secretariat has never and will never threaten any caterer or group of caterers. Well, if any caterer is claiming that she or he has been threatened, I think they can come to us and then show us where or who has threatened them. If it's a threat on their person, then that means the obvious place to lodge the complaint is the police station.
What about threats of termination of contract, like some of them have said?
Well, that's what I'm saying. We have never threatened any caterer or group of caterers to take their contracts away from them. We have never done that. We are rather even encouraging them to go and cook because we know that we owe them. It doesn't make sense, excuse my language, to threaten a caterer when you know that when they leave the job, who is going to do it? And for us, our major preoccupation is for the children to be fed. And so if the caterers are threatened and they abandon the job, are the children going to be fed? Obviously not. And that's the situation that we don't want.
On the subject of the arrears owed them and their demand for an increase in school feeding grants, Alpha Siba said the Secretariat is now mobilizing funds and will effect payment as soon as the Ministry of Finance release the allocation.
Oh, there are always plans. So we are making frantic efforts to ensure that we get the money released from government and then we'll be able to pay them. So there are plans underway. We are working assiduously, mobilize the funds and pay them. So it doesn't speak well. It's not even true that they have been threatened. We have never threatened any caterer.
Right.
And if they have been threatened, they can come to us and tell us where or who of the school feeding secretariat, from the school feeding secretariat or any of our officers for the regions are threatening them. Then we can take action on that. But their claim is never true.
You are live on Newsnight on Joy 99.7 FM. In a related development, if you recall, the Speaker of Parliament, just before Parliament went on that recess, took on this very matter and its impact on the schools. He tasked the 5-member committee of Parliament to investigate the concerns of the school feeding caterers who embarked on a strike to demand an increase in their feeding grant from 97 pesos to 3 cedis.
A matter of concern and of public interest has been brought to my attention in the aftermath of the caterers of the school feeding program's recent protest and strike action. The caterers, who ceased operations in May of this year, are requesting that their grants be increased from 0.97 pesos to 3 Ghana cedis per child per meal. A number of them have also threatened to terminate their contracts entirely due to months of non-payment of arrears by the government. I am aware of the extent to which the non-payment of these arrears is affecting school enrollment and attendance, particularly in rural communities. The situation we are in now affects the vulnerable school children and future leaders of this country. As political leaders, we seem to be prioritizing political development over economic development. We are neglecting a significant resource of development, that is, the people. As MPs, we cannot fold our arms or follow partisan lines and positions whilst Rome bends.
And that's Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bawin.
Well, let's talk about that issue yesterday that captured a lot of attention because many of us were affected by it. We are told that now the situation is easing in most of these district offices of the Electricity Company of Ghana. I'm talking about the inability for people to get their prepaid electricity yesterday after these domestic and businesses we know were badly hit by the metering challenges in 10 operational regions. We know that many were forced to shut down their shops and others sleep in darkness. This is how Michael Ashali captured the situation yesterday.
They said the network is down and then I should go and come back.
Rashid is one of many affected customers looking to purchase credits for his prepaid ECG meter. For a good part of the day, he has been on a motorbike combing the streets of Accra in search of a functional vending station.
I mean, light off. Like, this is your work. Do something about it. And then I come, you are telling me I should go net. Just like that, simple. Network is down.
Like Rashid, Linda Asante is also frustrated. She's been to the Aveno ECG substation for days, but has been unsuccessful in her quest.
I was here the day before. They said the network is down. I had to excuse myself from work to be here. It's very frustrating. It looks like I will have to sleep in the dark tonight.
Charles Mensah works from home. He needs to recharge as soon as possible, else he won't be able to meet his deadline.
So I thought that if I come to the head office, it will be easier for me. I'm coming from Tesano. It's not even frustrating, but it's also very annoying.
If the issue is not resolved soon, the aggrieved customers fear they will sleep in the dark. For Joy News, Michael Ashali.
Well, yesterday we got great feedback from you in real time while we spoke to the ECG General Manager in charge of external communications, who simply said they were unable to tell us when the problem will be fixed. Wherever you are tonight, I want to hear from you. Share your experiences with us tonight. Has it been fixed? Those who reached us yesterday and said they still could not buy prepaid credit. Have you been able to now buy prepaid credit? Did you solve the problem? And where did you get it? Send us a WhatsApp 055-1111-997. We're yet to hear from the ECG today with some clarity. What we know is that the PURC, the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, sent us a press release in which they were clear to us that they are having a conversation with the ECG to get the matter fixed.
And we understand that the ECG has been speaking to us about the situation being fixed. We can hear from the General Manager, External Affairs, Charles Aiko.
Currently, customers in the Greater Accra, Central, Eastern, Western and Volta regions can visit our district offices to purchase electricity. So they can actually go to offices to purchase electricity. And we are making sure that customers are being served, and they are to be served until the last customer leaves the office, the district office. We are still sorting out with the third-party vending centers. So I'm talking about ECG district offices. We are left to restore the system in the affected areas, these areas, Kumasi and Tema, as well as the third-party vending centers and the mobile app.
Okay.
So when you go to the third-party vendors, you might have a challenge. But I'm sure by the time this news comes up, they would have also been sorted. I mean, they would have also been restored. We express our sincere apology for the inconvenience caused to our affected customers. And it's our resolve to work assiduously to restore the system to normalcy as soon as possible.
So let's hear from you. That's the ECG, latest information giving to those of you who have been affected. But what's your experience tonight? MF, a few of them have reached out already. And
we have this one with no name. It says it has not been fixed. One is not able to purchase using any of the cards as all the networks are still down. He says he didn't add a name or the area, but yesterday he texted us from Spintex. And this one also says, Evans, no, come and see Tema. This is why they are looking for 500 plus increment. What the man is talking about, they should go to their office, is a lie. He says it hasn't been fixed. And we have one from Tony Kaswa Broadcasting, also says we are left with 4 cities, so we have to put everything off. We want to use a light for this evening. That's Tony Kaswa trying to preserve or conserve energy because they say the situation there has not been fixed. And this one also, you ask questions also about SIM registration. We'll come to some of them. But John from Rage says it's a total lie, Evans. My money has been with a vendor since yesterday. I just have 5 CDs to be in the darkness.
So the
no
ECG
electricity.
In that sound says you go to their district offices. So it appears if you use the third-party vendor, then there's a challenge that they haven't fixed yet. But they have to travel, and we know the district offices are, mostly pretty remote from many of the homes.
Okay,
but that's where you can get it.
This one from Kumasi. He says he's combed all offices in Kumasi, and that they've been to the ECG office at Denyame and Idum, and it's still the same. And he says he slept in darkness yesterday, but I think you should try today. I don't know if the district offices are still open as at now, because we know the times they close. But a Fuad from Mid-Year says, I bought my prepaid credit with Easy yesterday evening at the Nsawam office of ECG, but wasn't served with a receipt. I bought 50, but when I loaded, it only came 30. He says that's Fuad from Mid-Year, and some of the messages that people are sending in. And this one says, for 3 days we don't have light and people are keeping their job. That's the question. We're told the situation is being resolved, so you need to go to the offices and you'll be able to buy. Efo Maoli from La Paz also says, since yesterday, Evans, it's not being fixed. And come to Achim Drenase in the Denchamoa district. And he says the police at Achim go around all the... Okay, he's talking about the Galamsey issue. They go around all the Galamsey sites, take money from them, and he can even help get videos. Richard from Akwetia would reach out for more on this particular situation. But also about the SIM card registration. You're asking about what the situation is with some people. And this one says... Susu Anthony, living in Tema. I have registered for the Ghana card for the past 4 months now, but still waiting to receive mine. So I did not have the way to register, and it's going to affect my work because I really rely on the internet to carry out my daily activities. So, and Enoch also sends one. I registered during the mass registration exercise. I have since been chasing my card to no avail. Kindly send the signature link to join. He wants to join that class action. And Ajua Amening sends us a message, and he says her husband has successfully used his Ghana card to re-register his SIM and her son's SIM, but has been unable to use the same SIM to re-register the daughter's SIM. It's asking us to go to the nearest NIA office, but he can't leave his work to go and queue. That's Ajua Amening's situation. And we have one that says, where on earth in this modern day and age is this draconian law being applied by a minister? It can only be done by MPP. That's a Henry in Kaswa. Some messages that you've sent in. Thanks for sending them in.
Let's do sports now. Bao is here with the very latest. What's the latest?
Well, the Ghana Football Association has decided to put the Bet Power Premier League on hold. This follows a motion on notice for injunction filed on Wednesday, September 28th, at the Human Rights Court by Ashanti Gold Soccer Club, and served on the Ghana Football Association's lawyers yesterday afternoon. This means that the league is expected to remain suspended until the motion on notice for injunction is determined by the court on October 14th. But what does this mean, especially to partners like BetPower, who are investing $2 million into the league? Joy Sports Fentio Tahiru Fentio has been doing some analysis on this.
It's a massive hit for the sponsors, but not just for them, and they're, like you said, pumping a lot of money into this, but also club owners. Because, you planned your season. At least we have 2 weeks now where there will be no football activity. It's 2 weeks of non-activity that you did not plan for. What are you going to do with the players? How are you going to break them? Are you going to keep them in camp? It makes no sense. That is extra money they're spending. The Wache seller who had gone to buy extra beans or extra rice because Kotoko will be coming to town this week.
The beverage sellers.
Now, what are they going to do with that extra rice?
Those who run transportation.
There you go. They've gone to hire new buses because supporters will be coming. Or he's going to spend all his money trying to fix seats on his 207 bus because he knows Kotoko are coming and fans will be coming. Now, how does he recoup that money? It's nowhere to be found. Referees, same. They get paid per game, they officiate. Now the matches are on hold. So the economic activity that will grind to a halt as a result of this decision is massive. And you're looking at potentially no end in sight. What we all need to be hopeful of, and this is not with any prejudice to Ashanti Gold whatsoever, the best case scenario for the GFA and for everybody else involved is for on the 14th of October, for the court or the judge to say, I am not granting that injunction application. Because if he grants that injunction application, then it means that the league will continue to be on hold while a final determination is made on the actual matter, the substantive issue. And the trial of that substantive issue could take months and perhaps years, because we know certain cases that have taken years to determine.
That's Josh Sports Fentio, Tahir Fentio there. So even started after 3 weeks into the Ghana Premier League. It's on hold until 14th of October.
Thank you very much. Well, tomorrow is the 1st of September, Saturday, 1st of October, and the rain is still pouring. It's been raining since yesterday. In fact, the last 24 hours, it hasn't stopped raining. But the question is really, is this normal? I mean, back in the day, we know, June, July, May, June, July, maybe August, and then, and the rains are done. And now you start approaching December, it's getting warmer.
We're getting ready for Harmattan,
Yeah. But now, the rains just won't stop, right? Is that normal? We've been asking that question of the Ghana Met Agency, the head of the Central Analysis and Forecasting Office, Felicity Ahiafenyo, actually says expect more. This will continue through to December. It may even continue all the way to next year, March.
It's more like a monsoonal type of rain, whereby you have it stagnating or lasting for more than hours, more than a day or two. So those are the characteristics that we are seeing. When it happens, at times if it's intense, you can get it more like 3 days, 4 days. But then over the years, we've not been experiencing it like this, that continuously you will get it. But then when you check records in the early 60s, 70s, 80s, late 70s, you could see that you have at times 6 days of rain, continuous rain. At times you have 5 days. So, but then from 1981 to somewhere around 2000, you will see a break in it. But then it's like the cycle is changing back to the previous that we know. I believe that our fathers and our mothers may attest to it. But we, the younger ones, maybe we have not experienced it this way. So now, June, July, August, and part of September is the month that we have a break, and then you have the minor season starting in mid-September. Now, this year, you could see that July, August, September, we've been having cloudiness, we've been having rain. That is the positive impact of the episode of La Nina over the country, the impact that it's having on us. Instead of the July, August, and part of September remaining dry, at times cloudy, the morning will be cloudy, then we have some light rain or drizzle. This time around, we had more. It is not normal. Number one measure that we need to take is that we should have access to Ghana Meteorological Agency's weather forecast on daily basis. It will help you plan your day activities. Once you know the place is very cloudy and it's getting darker, then you should know that the clouds over you is likely to produce rain, and then you should try as much as possible to get yourself protected.
Well, thankfully, some information there for you. So expect this to continue all the way up, possibly to March 2023.
I ain't trying to preach. I believe I
song. I'm sure it brings back memories, doesn't it?
Oh, it does. When I used to rap, back in the day.
Please, let's drop the bass. Let's raise it a bit.
Oh no, I mean a legend is gone. So it's time to be somber. Coolio, by the way. That's the name that many young people.
Was it your guy name, as they say?
Oh no, Coolio wasn't my guy.
What was your guy name?
I'll tell you afterwards. but that's a pretty tragic news, MFR Pal.
Yeah, and there's a lot of tributes pouring in. He died today at 59, and the likes of Snoop Dogg, Ice Cube, MC Hammer, among other big names in the rap industry, have been paying tribute to him following the news of his death. Well, the US rapper known for his 1995 hit Gangsta's Paradise. Snoop Dogg refers to the world-famous track in his own tribute writing, Gangsta's Paradise, R.I.P. And then we also know about a former NWA star, Ice Cube, and he said he witnessed Coolio's grind to the top of the industry in his own tribute. And some also say this is sad news. A lot of tributes still pouring in for Coolio.
Famous song, won a Grammy with this. I saw a fantastic orchestra perform this, and it was beautiful. Well, he's passed now, and condolences to his family. We'll remember him.
May his soul rest in perfect peace.
Yeah,
and that's how we wrap up tonight's edition.
My
right?
favorite one, apart from this, is I think it's just ideal for this particular moment.
Okay.
A best farewell song that he himself did.
And then from you as well, I guess.
Oh. Yes, indeed.